So in this video we're gonna talk about the laziest way to bring people into your club, and you are soon gonna realize that the laziest way, fun enough, is also the best way of bringing people into your club. So with that said, if you stick around with me until the end of this video, I'm gonna lay out the whole map, how you actually go from never have run the program like this to actually completing it and getting really good results with less effort than you usually put on your existing programs. Now, before I get started and before I let you know more about how you do this program on your own and what the benefits are compared to what most clubs are doing, I just wanted to briefly mention that if you need help with running a program like this, that's basically what we do. And I've left a link below this video. You can just click on the link. It's going to take you to our website where you can go ahead and see what we do, how everything works. And if it makes sense to you, then you can book a call with us so we can talk more about how we could run a program like this with your club specifically. It's free and your club doesn't take any risk. So if you want to grow your club, I think it's one of the best ways to do it. Now let's go into the video, because this video alone should give you enough context so you can do something like this yourself and not be dependent on us or anyone else. Now that said, let's get into the video and let's talk about how you can run a program like this yourself, just with the context that I'm going to give you throughout this video. Now, before I get into this lazy way of bringing the people in, we also have to discuss how most clubs are running their programs right now and why, even though they might feel like this is quite low effort and quite lazy way of bringing people in, it's truly not it. So usually what clubs are doing is that there are small initiatives multiple times throughout the year. And that way they think that if we just they focus so much on like the amount of people that they're bringing. Let's say that if we bring 10 people or 20 people, that's super manageable. Like, we cannot mess it up. The people are gonna have fun and we're gonna make sure to get them into the club. And then what ends up happening is that if the club really wants to grow, instead of running one of these initiatives, they say like, okay, since we want to grow, let's run 5 of them or 6 of them. I think the record, like, there are some clubs that I've been seeing that run up to 20 of this initiative a year. So imagine how much that is in coaching hours, in actually volunteer hours that go into that also. So 20 small initiatives, or 10 or 5 or whatever your club does. And the goal is to, of course, get these people and convert them into members and make sure that they're coming into the club and they are increasing the membership number year by year. That's the idea. But most of the times when clubs run this many programs, people come in and they actually leave much sooner than the clubs would want them to. So what happens is that maybe, let's take an example, you bring 10 people in at a program in January, 5 of them continue at your club, then in February you bring 8 people, then maybe 2 of them continue into March, and then by April you bring 3 more people, and then it becomes like this, bringing people all the time in and people dropping out. And by the end of the year, before you realize it, you are probably going to be at the same number of members that you had when you started, maybe a little bit more than that, but you've also spent so much time into these programs going around. And what we also have noticed when clubs do this many initiatives is that not only are they putting a lot of time into them, their coaches get burned out because they are doing basically the same time the whole year around. It becomes quite boring to just introduce people, so their excitement kind of dies out. The people that come in don't really get that much better experience because, like I said, the coaches are not that enthusiastic because they do it 10 times a year. The people that decide to continue get into groups with existing members, so they feel like they are not that good as the other members. And then lastly, fun enough, even the existing members within the clubs don't really like this kind of setup, because that means that a lot of new people are coming into the club all the time and leaving, and they are maybe not at the level that all the other members are. So it becomes really like a lose-lose situation for everyone. The club puts a bunch of time into bringing new people. They don't really get people to stick around. The people that come in don't really get a good experience. The coaches get burned out because they are doing it too much throughout the whole year. And the existing members don't really like it because it just becomes like a constant inflow of people that are not at their level, which actually makes the practices not that fun for them. Now, if we focus more on the laziest way of running a program, which is actually running a big program. So the single one thing that the most clubs are afraid of, bringing a lot of people together because they think that it's going to be a lot of work, is usually what's holding most clubs back. Because if you run a big program, we are soon going to realize that a lot of these problems that most clubs have with running these small programs actually go away. Well, for starters, if you run a big program, and by big I mean around 80 to 100 participants, maybe you want to really grow that year and you can like take it to 120 or whatever, but that's usually like the number we are trying to reach. So let's say 100 just to make things easier. So if you run a program with 100 people here, that replaces 10 programs with 10 people here, right? So you go from needing to run 10 months consistent grow efforts to just run it once. And when I say once, usually the programs that convert the best are the programs that are not too long and not too short. So usually you are left with something around 4 weeks. So let's say that you have one 4-week program that brings 100 people, that usually equals to the same amount of results, or even better results to be honest, than running 10 programs with 10 people. And because you only do it once a year, it allows you to actually plan ahead for it much better, and it allows you to get much better results also, because these small programs don't really have something that this big program has. This program has some hype around it. If 100 people go through an experience together and you actually make sure that it's a good experience, then you're going to get left with something much bigger and stronger than ever. You're probably going to left with around half of these people continuing at your club, which means that you bring in a group of 50 people into your club, and then you make sure to actually take care of them, make sure that they stick together, they go through the experience together, no one is actually bothering them. And likewise for the people that are already in your club, they're just gonna see this group go train together, become better, and eventually join the experience group. So the existing members are not going to be bothered by it either, because the group is so big that they can actually run their own sessions side by side your existing members. So that way, like I said, we eliminated the coach. So that way, just by running one program, we eliminated the coach burnout, because they just have to do it once a year. When it comes to beginners, we make sure that more people actually stick around the club because the beginners get a better experience. We made sure that the people that are already within your club, your members, actually don't get bothered by these new people coming in. And we also made sure that the results are better because the group is so big and you put more time into the experience, so the people actually stick around the club. And because the group is bigger from the get-go, like I said, if you convert 50% of them, you are left with 50 new members. That means that retention is going to be so much easier, because even if someone quits or maybe someone moves to another city, you're still going to have a big enough group that actually sticks together and continues training throughout the year. If the same happens on the small programs where you just convert 3 or 4 people and one quits, that's 25% of that intake. So everyone else that went the program with this person, they're gonna feel a big impact that one of their friends left. But if one of 50 leaves, then it doesn't really matter, right? Most people are probably not even gonna realize it, except if they were super close friends to that person. So I hope I made it quite clear that the laziest way is actually running a big program instead of actually trying to have a small amount of people at the time and running programs all throughout the year, because this brings a lot of problems that most clubs don't even realize. This is actually much easier and much more lazy to run. Now, as you probably are already realizing, there is not such a way of really being lazy, because like either way, both of these two options actually require some time, but one of them gives you so much better results. So that said, now really quickly, I want to walk you through how you can run a program like this yourself. What are the different steps of actually running a program like this? Well, the first step is actually preparation. So you make sure that you actually find the time during the year that it makes more sense for your club to run an initiative like this. It can be on spring, it can be on fall, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that it's a time where you can actually get enough people from the club to help out with running this program. Since we are bringing a larger number of people in, of course we're going to need some more people helping out. Now, who is going to help out with a program like this? Well, a lot of people can actually do it. Your existing coaches can do it, athletes that have been with you for a long time and know your sport can do it, parents that have been around the club and actually know how the sport goes can do it. So you can actually build a pretty big group of beginner coaches, and they don't need to be at the highest level. You just need to actually prepare them accordingly and make sure that you give them a plan to follow, and they can help out with bringing these people in. So once you have found the time and the coaches, then you can move on to the second step. The second step is actually making sure that you get a big enough group of people, and you do that by doing some kind of promotion, marketing. That's usually what we are really good at when we work with clubs, helping them take care of that part completely so they don't have to worry about it. But I mean, even if you do it yourself, you just need to think like marketing is basically a volumes game. So instead of like what most clubs do is that they post like a social media post, they post on their website, and then they just wait. Like they think that time is what's gonna make people join. Like if you post it on January and you have your program on September, then there is enough time for people to sign up, which is like quite a good idea of thinking that way, but it doesn't really work that way. What actually gets people to sign up and commit is not time, is actually how many times they see about this program and how many different angles you are actually able to hit. So if you, I'm gonna make it really clear with you without making this video too long, but let's say that you hit it from one angle, that if someone is new in the city and they want community, then they can join this program. Another angle could be like, if you have been training your whole life but you want to switch up your sport and do something more fun, then try this out. Another angle could be like, if you are between these ages and want to get in shape, then this is the program for you, right? So if you make enough of these angles, then you're eventually gonna attract more people to your program, and that's how you come up to these big numbers. Like I said, that 80 to 120 people. We have run programs with up to 150 people by doing these tactics. So once you've done that, then the third part is actually executing the program. And what you want to make sure here is that you have 5 core things in place. First of all, you want to make it flexible for people. So it shouldn't be just like come and train on Monday and Tuesday. You make it flexible, and that also is going to allow you to actually run smaller sessions. Because if you divide the sessions throughout the week, then the sessions themselves are going to be pretty small. So it's going to feel almost like running one of these programs, the small programs, but only that you do it more frequently throughout the week. And the people really like it because they can choose whatever day they want. Now, once you have made sure that there is some flexibility to it, you want to also, like I said, make sure that the coaches know what they're doing and you have like a clear curriculum of what is happening week by week. Once you have that in place, then you can make sure that you have some events so the people not just like learn the sport that you are teaching them, but also actually get the chance to become friends with each other and have fun. And then the last part of it is really having really clear communication throughout this first month. Because if you do all of this stuff, then you are going to be left with people that actually want to continue at your club. So the natural last step of this program, of running a program like this, the laziest program you can run to bring people, is basically converting these people from participants to members. And this is another thing that I've seen a lot of clubs actually mess up. I mean, most clubs just like don't really communicate clearly when it comes to like getting people from participants to members, because they feel like if someone wants to join or if someone likes the program, they are naturally going to do it, which again is not a wrong thing to think, but usually that's not really how people work. Like, you know, the people maybe have had the best experience of their life, but they maybe just happened to be on a vacation, or maybe they had a lot of work that week when they were supposed to decide, or maybe they wanted to do it, but they forgot to sign up. There are so many different reasons why people don't go ahead and sign up directly. So your job as a club at the last part of running a program like this is making sure that you actually get as many people as possible that join the program to actually become members. Because at the end of the day, most clubs run programs to actually bring people in, right? And to get them into their membership so they can make money out of them, have more people at the club that can help out, serve more people, and whatever your reason is. So if you just run the program and then never ask, or don't really ask well at the end, then you more or less just run the program without getting any results. Which is really what these small programs are. Like, most clubs just run them because they think that they have to. You don't have to run that many programs. You just need to be intentional about what you're doing and make sure that you convert people. That way, you can bring people in with less effort. It's more fun for the coaches, more fun for the people, more fun for your existing members. So hopefully I gave you a clear picture of how this works. Like I said, just seeing what most clubs are doing and what the laziest way of doing it is. And also hope you also got some idea of how you can actually go about and build something like this. Like I said, you start with preparation, then you make sure that you promote this clearly, then you execute the program at a high level by including some key things that people really like, and then at the end you're actually not afraid of making the ask. If you have gave people what you told them you're gonna give them, then you have all rights to actually ask them to join your program, pay for the membership, or whatever that might be. So that said, if you need help doing everything that I've laid out, this is basically what we do with clubs, we call it Club Accelerator, then I've left a link below. It's free for your club. We have a really interesting model which allows us to make this cost-free for the club, risk-free for the clubs, and just like I mentioned during this video, there are a lot of upsides of doing the programs this way instead of the traditional way. So that said, thank you for watching this video. I will be seeing you on the next one. Hope that you got some value out of this. Bye.